Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm an American who is lucky enough to catch an amazing European honey, and I'm going to share with you some of my favorite things I've learned to cook with him. If you're wondering why there's a net next to me, I'm going to be preparing our food on our ping pong table because we are college students and it is a large space. So, hope you try some of them and tell me if you like them, tell me what you think about them, and I hope you enjoy them just as much as I do. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, we're going to make a sweet, delicious dessert that is one of my and my husband's favorites. It's baklava. It's very easy to make and it's delicious. Baklava, there's different kinds depending on where the recipe comes from. Ours is Bulgarian, and in my opinion, it's the best one. So, let's start. First, you need phyllo dough. Comes in a package just like this. It says phyllo dough on it. You want to make sure to get the sheets because they also have different kinds. The sheets are what we need for baklava. You also need some vanilla, which we're going to use a couple teaspoons of it in just a minute. You need 2 sticks of butter, which we're going to melt. So you need a little pan to melt that in, or if you want a little bowl to melt it in the microwave. You're going to need some sugar and some walnuts. And you're going to need probably about 1 package. They have them in packages of about 10 ounces. That's what this is. It's 10 ounces of walnuts. We've already chopped it up, and it's got 1 cup of sugar in it. You're also going to add the vanilla to this, and we're going to do that in just a minute. But first, we're going to melt our butter. So, we're going to unwrap it. And we're going to melt both of these sticks of butter right there in our pan. If I can get the package to come open. Take our trash with this, and to the stove we go. Okay, what we're doing is we are melting the butter. Like I just said a minute ago, we are melting the butter until it turns into kind of a goldish and it's liquid so that we can use that for our baklava. Okay, while our butter is melting, we're going to add our vanilla to our walnuts. So we need 2 teaspoons. I just like the little bitty spoon. You can use an actual measuring teaspoon if you would like to. So let's do that. And then we're going to make our syrup. And 2. Woo. Okay. Now we're going to mix it in and keep it in the bowl while we're mixing. Set that right there. Okay, nice and mixed. Now we're going to, we'll clean up that in a minute. Now we're going to make our syrup. We're going to use 3½ cups of water and 2½ cups of sugar. So first we're going to put our sugar in a pan. Just dump it in there. And then we're going to add the water, and we're actually going to take this over to the stove, and then once we get it on the stove we're going to add the water and we're going to use our lemon. Or you can use lemon juice that comes in the bottle. So we're melting our butter. Our butter's starting to turn that nice golden that we want. And all this foam, we want most of the foam to go away. So we want to get all the water out of the butter. And you're going to stir that while you're melting it. Okay, our butter's about done, so we're going to take it off. We're going to set our spoon to the side. And this is what it looks like, that nice golden color. Okay, so we're going to put our syrup over here on our burner, and we've preheated our oven, and we're starting to preheat our oven to 400 degrees, so it's heating up while we're doing this. Okay, we've got our water and our sugar in here. That's 3½ cups of water and 2½ cups of sugar. And that's our syrup. It just started boiling, so we're going to add our lemon juice. Again, you can use lemon juice in the bottle if you want, but we've got our lemon. It's half of a lemon. And just squeeze it in there. Get all the juice. Okay. Okay, we're going to let this cook for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes we're going to make sure to take it off the burner because it's got to cool off before we can pour it. So our syrup needs to be cool before we pour it onto our baklava. Okay, while our syrup is heating up, we're going to start on the baklava. So what you want to do is, I've already opened your the phyllo dough, but you're going to take the package out of the box and open it up. And we've already done that with this one, and it rolls out, and you can see that there's different sheets. It comes in 2 different rolls, so we want to split it into 4. So each roll you want to split it in half. So we're going to take half of this one and kind of fold it over so that way it's separated from each other, and take our butter, and you just take 1 tablespoon, 1 big spoon, and kind of put it around the pan. Okay, so we put the butter, splashed it around, or put the spoons in the pan. Now we're going to take our sheets of phyllo dough and we're going to lay them out in the pan. Kind of smooth it out because it wrinkles a little bit when we lay it down. Okay. Just a little bit more butter. And now we're going to put a few spoons of the walnuts. And just sprinkle them around on top of that phyllo dough. Okay, we're going to put the walnuts in after we've put the butter down in on our phyllo dough. But before you start putting the walnuts, you want to separate it kind of into quarters, into fourths. And we're going to use the first fourth this time. So kind of make that cross across your bowl. That way we don't use too much and run out, but we don't have too much left over at the end too. Make sure we get our walnuts covering all different spots of the phyllo dough. Spreading it around. And that's about a fourth of it. Okay, we're going to take the other half of our phyllo dough and we're going to lay it down on top of this layer of walnuts that we just put in. And again, you're going to smooth it out, kind of press in the corners there. And we're going to grab our butter again. Okay, and another quarter of our walnuts. After this layer, you should only have half your walnuts left. Okay. Now we need to open this package. We're just going to slide it out. Oh, we think we are. Okay. Now we're going to unroll a second roll of preheated. And again, we're going to separate it into half. going to take the top off of there with the front one. Lay it down on top. Let's fix this here. Okay. We're going to smooth it out. I'm going to put some more butter on top. It's almost done. Okay, oh, we need a little bit more butter here. It's almost done, ready to cook. I am already ready to eat it. Okay, walnuts. And these walnuts, when you chop them up, you can put them in a food processor or a blender. Makes them chop a little bit easier. It chops them up really good. So either one of those works. Okay. Okay, this top layer we have of our phyllo dough, we're going to separate it into half again, because we want to make sure that our top layer isn't too thick. So we're going to take the half of that one, we're going to lay it just like we have been, and we're going to do one more layer. It's getting a little bit wrinkled. Smooth it out. We're going to put the butter on top. See, like I said, very easy, very delicious. So, the butter. And just spread it across. Okay. And add the rest of these walnuts. Okay. And we're just going to add the rest of these. Spread them across. Okay, and we're going to add the last layer on top here. Okay, now we're going to cut our baklava so that we can cut it. We can cook it. We're going to cut it so we can cook it. There we go. You're going to cut it into thirds. So you can see that. We're going to cut it right here, and you want to cut it nice, slow, so you don't tear it too much. You're cutting right here. And then we're going to cut it down the middle lengthways, just like this. You want to hold it again because it likes to wrinkle on you. Okay, and make sure whenever you're when you get your phyllo dough, you want to make sure that you get a pan about the size of your phyllo dough. I think ours is about 9 by 13. That way you don't have to cut the phyllo dough. And then we're going to cut them across. So you should have 6 little squares. And you want to cut them diagonally across to have triangles in those squares. We're going to alternate. Okay. Now we're going to add the rest of our butter onto the top of this. So, spread it out across there so it's on the top of all of those. Okay, now we're going to take it over to the oven. You should have your oven preheated to 400 degrees, and we're going to cook it for about 40 minutes. Okay, our baklava should be about done. Look at that. Nice golden tan. It smells amazing and wonderful. and we're going to take it over to our table so that we can pour our syrup on. Okay, now that our baklava is done, we're going to pour the syrup onto the baklava so it can soak in. You have to make sure the syrup has to be cold, so not cold but cool. It has to be cooled off, which that's why we made our syrup while it was cooking, so it had plenty of time to cool off. So we're just going to pour it in. Look at that. And now we're going to let it soak in. So we're letting the baklava soak in all of the syrup and all of the flavor from that. And you're going to let it soak for about 3 hours before you serve it or before you eat it. Okay, our baklava is done, and now for my favorite part, the best part ever, tasting it. Here's our baklava. I've already cut a piece of it. As you can see, it is in a triangle. It's got its juices on the side. So. Amazing. 2 thumbs up.